Project Unit 1 Life Story. Welcome to our presentation. Nowadays, when we come to Vietnam, we can see images of a man everywhere. So, have you ever wondered that? Who is he? He is Ho Chí Minh, a great leader of Vietnam. Now, let's learn about him together. 1. Where and when was he born? Where did he grow up? Ho Chí Minh real name is Nguyễn Sinh Cung, was born on May 90, 1890 in Kim Liên Khổng Miu, Nam Đàn District, Nghệ An Province in a family of patriotic intellectuals. His father is Nguyễn Sinh Sắc, a Confucian scholar. His mother is Hoàng Thị Loan. Furthermore, he also had an elder sister named Nguyễn Thị Thanh and an elder brother named Nguyễn Sinh Khiêm. In 1906, he and his father went to Huế and studied at Huế National School. In early 1910, he went to Phan Thiết and worked as a physical education and Vietnamese teacher. Ho Chí Minh grew up in the context of Vietnam, being a colony of French colonialists. So, with his patriotism, in 1911, he left Nhà Rồng Harbor for France. Two, what is he famous for? He is known as the leader of the proletarian revolution. From 1912 to 1916, he lived in the US and France as a waiter. By the end of 1917, he returned to France. In 1919, he sent to the Warsaw Conference a petition from the unarmed people to claim the right of the Vietnamese people. In 1920, he read Lenin's Exit and from then on he chose to believe in proletarianism. Soon after, he joined the founding of the French Communist Party. 2 years later, he began writing newspapers and establishing revolutionary organizations to spread Marxist-Leninist ideologies into Vietnam. In June 1923, he went to the Soviet Union to attend the International Farmer Conference and was elected to the Executive Committee.
After staying in the Soviet Union to study, at the end of 1924, he went to the Warsaw, China. Many years later, he and other young Vietnamese patriots established many communist organizations. In Hong Kong, he found a right path to national salvation for the Vietnamese people and founded the Communist Party of Vietnam organization in early 1930. In 1931, in light of being harmed by the French colonialists, he was expelled from Hong Kong. During the next 5 years, he returned to the Soviet Union to study and teach at the Lenin Institute. In 1938, he came to China and participated in voluntary activities in Chongqing, Guiyang, Kunming. In 1941, he returned to Vietnam to lead the Vietnamese movement. After returning to Vietnam, he sent a letter calling on the Vietnamese people to unite to defeat the French colonialists and Japanese fascists. Finally, in August 1945, under his leadership and the Communist Party of Vietnam, the Vietnamese people won a voluntary victory. On September 2, 1945, Ho Chí Minh led Vietnam's declaration of independence at Baden Square, Hanoi. Soon after, he was elected president of the Democratic Republic of Vietnam. However, the French colonialists still returned to invade by signing the Vietnam Front preliminary agreement with the Vietnamese government. In order to make deal with that situation, Ho Chí Minh led the Vietnamese people to overcome difficulties to build the country. However, the French colonialists returned to invade by signing a preliminary treaty with the Vietnamese government in 1946 and a provisional treaty between Vietnam and France in 1946. As the leader of Vietnam, he continued to call on the people to resist the French colonialists. After many years of arduous struggle, in 1954, the Điện Biên Phủ campaign was victorious and France failed in its work of invasion of Vietnam. However, American imperialism replaced France in invading Vietnam. In that situation, Ho Chi Minh continued to lead the Vietnamese people resisting against American imperialism. Many years later, Ho Chi Minh led the people of northern Vietnam to build socialism, while the ones of southern Vietnam were fighting for national reunification. Ho Chi Minh continued to lead the Vietnamese people resisting against American imperialism many years later. Due to old age and poor health, he passed away in 1959. He spent his whole life dedicating himself to the Vietnamese people. With his contribution to the country, he is always respectable. Vietnamese people commemorate him by hanging his pictures and placing his symbol everywhere. He is known by the very familiar name of the Vietnamese people, Bác Hồ.
3. Some interesting facts about him. 1. Ho Chi Minh is a very talented person. He is fluent in many foreign languages including English, French, German, Italian, Spanish, Chinese, and Russian. In addition, he is also an outstanding writer and poet. 2. He is an influential person in the world. He is one of 6 Vietnamese people recognized by UNESCO as World Cultural Celebrity. Moreover, he was voted by Time magazine as one of the 100 most influential people of the 20th century. 3. Ho Chi Minh is a person who lives simple. Although he holds the leadership role of the country, a high position in the society, he is a person who lives simply and in harmony with everyone. 4. Ho Chi Minh is a frequent smoker. Ho Chi Minh is a frequent smoker. Due to the nature of his work, he is a frequent smoker. It took Ho Chi Minh nearly a year to quit smoking. It was not until March 1968, when he had a cold and cough, that he decided to stop smoking and successfully quit smoking.
5. Ho Chi Minh is an example of hard work in health training. Ho Chi Minh is an example of hard work in health training. He always encouraged the movement of exercise and sport. During his life, he racked up to 12 sports such as walking, climbing, martial arts, horseback riding, rowing, swimming, weightlifting, football, chess, table tennis, beer, and volleyball. 6. Ho Chi Minh has different names. With more than 40 years of operation across Ho Chi Minh used 152 names such as Thổ Chính, Tống Văn Sơ, Chế Văn Lai to ensure success and safe operation. He visited nearly 50 countries and hundreds of cities around the world. Listen from his story. President Ho Chi Minh set a good example for the Vietnamese people about the perseverance and national pride. He inspired young generation of Vietnam with the spirit of striving to overcome difficulty. Even though he passed away, Vietnamese people still remember him forever.